We're going to present the models of attention. Attention, as defined by psychology, is our ability to concentrate our consciousness on a stimulus while excluding any other stimulus around. There exist two kinds of attention theories. The first one being sustained attention, which is when we're able to focus on one task without being distracted, and the second one being selective attention, which is the ability to filter out the stimulus you do not want to pay attention to and select which one to focus on. As well as two models of attention, the early and late selection models. Early selection is when the filter operates at an early stage in the flow of information, while the late selection model is when most of the incoming information is processed to the level of meaning before the message is to be further processed and selected. During this presentation, we will go over three models of attention that covers selective and early selection and the order of broadband model, the attenuation model, and the feature integration model.
Broadband filter model. In 1958, Donald Broadbent created the filter model. Its goal was to explain how, in the dichotic experiment, it was possible for the individual to focus on one message only while ignoring the other one. This model is referred to as an early selection model. Explanation of the model. The message reaches first the sensory memory, which holds all information for a fraction of seconds before transferring it to the filter. The filter receives all the messages but only analyzes the message that was shadowed and breaks down all of its physical characteristics: tone of voice, pitch, speed of talking, and accent. The filter only lets these characteristics pass through to the detector and all other messages are rejected. Since the information is filtered out at the beginning of the flow of information, Broadbent's model is called an early selection model. The detector will process the message and figure out the higher level characteristic it holds, such as its content. Since it's only the intended message that was let through, the detector will analyze everything it contains. After the detector is sent to the short-term memory, it stays there for 10 to 15 seconds and then is sent to the long-term memory. In 1959, Neville Murray made an experiment using dichotic listening. He played two different messages in the participants' ears and asked them to focus on one ear only, just like Cherry did. The only difference is that in the unattended ear, he would play the participant's name. One time out of three, the participant noticed it. According to Broadbent's theory, the filter was supposed to filter out everything from the unattended message, and yet the participants heard their name in the other ear. This means that their name was not filtered out and had been analyzed enough to be recognized as their name.
Introduction to the attenuation model. The model was created by Anne Treisman in 1964 in response to the criticism the Broadbent model had received. This model can insert phenomenon left unanswered in Broadbent's model. Anne Treisman came up with the idea that instead of bottlenecking information, we attenuate it instead of blocking it out completely. In the upcoming slides, I will go in depth about what the attenuation model entails. The attenuation model has two key elements. The attenuator, it is the process of analyzing the message in terms of its physical characteristic, whether it is high pitch or low pitch, fast or slow, its language, how the message grows into syllables or words, and its meaning, how sequences of words create meaningful phrases. On a small note, unlike in the Broadbent model, the attenuation model does not rely on only physical attributes like shown previously. If the voice can be deciphered from male or female, the message will be analyzed using the meaning. If the meaning can be used, it will focus on another attribute, whether it is the physical attributes or the language. As you can see, there is the attended and unattended message. The attended message emerges at full strength, and the unattended message are attenuated. They're still present, but are weaker than the attended message, because at least some of the attended message gets through the attenuator. The second and final stage is the dictionary unit. The dictionary unit is responsible for containing a variety of words that have different threshold levels. This means that words with low thresholds, like common words, are more likely to be detected than words with a higher one, such as words that we do not use frequently. For example, we have low thresholds to our name and a higher one for words like both, which are not frequently used. There are a few differences between the attenuation model and the Broadbent model. Here's a few. According to Brockman's theory, which stated that we can only focus our attention on one stimuli while blocking out the rest. However, how could this be when phenomena like the cocktail party phenomenon exist? Which is when we're able to focus on a stimuli, however, while being able to turn in important information, such as your name. That is why even when you're engaged in a conversation, you will notice when somebody calls out your name. In the attenuation model, the other stimuli are not fully blocked out, but attenuated, which explains the cocktail phenomenon. Another difference is that Broadbent argued that we only picked up physical properties and that we process meaning last. But as proved false by the Deer on Chain experiment by Gray Wedderburn in 1960, in this experiment, participants had to shadow a message presented to the left ear. This message was a Dear 7 Jane, while the unattended hear at the message 9 on 6 playing. When the participants were asked what they heard, an overwhelming majority said they heard Dear on Jane instead of Dear 7 Jane. This meant that we processed meaning first. Unlike in the Broadbent model, the attenuated filter does not only process physical characteristics, but meaning as well, which explained the Dear on Jane experiment.
Feature integration theory. The feature integration theory of attention is a theory developed by Anne Treisman and Gary Gerold in 1980. It suggests that while looking at an object, the pre-attentive and focused attention stage allows us to see this object as a whole and not as a bunch of separated features alone. Explanation of the model. The first stage is called the pre-attentive stage. During this stage, basic features like colors and shapes are automatically identified by the brain. Everything in the pre-attentive stage occurs when we are not aware of the objects in our visual field, because it is too early in the perceptual processing. This stage does not need attention. The second stage is called the focused attention stage. During this stage, all the object's features combine for us to view this object as a whole. Each feature belongs in a specific map in our brain. We combine all the features into a master map, and this allows us to perceive the object as a whole. This stage needs attention. Visual search. There are two types of search: feature search and conjunction search. Feature search is when the object pops up and it's easily spotted without much effort because of its unique feature compared to the other objects. For example, if you are searching for a blue hat in a bunch of multicolor hats, it would be easy for us to spot the blue hat because it would be the only blue hat among all the other hats. The second the second search is conjunction search. It's when the object we are searching for does not have any unique feature that helps us distinguish it from the other objects. For example, if we are searching for a pair of glasses on a messy desk, everything on the desk has multiple colors, shapes, sizes, etc. So it will be harder for us to find the glasses. We have to take our time and look slowly through all the desks so we can finally find the object. Illusory conjunction is an experiment done by Treisman and Schmidt in 1982, where they presented a display with four different shapes with different colors and sizes, followed by two black numbers on each side. They quickly showed the images so to the participants and asked them to report the black numbers first, then the shapes and their colors. They then forced the participant to divide their attention between identifying the black numbers and identifying the shapes. They then discovered that some participants started mixing the shapes and the colors and reported seeing shapes that were not there.
To conclude, the Broadbent model, attenuation attention model, and feature integration model have all been important in the progression and understanding of the complex concept of attention, as well as aiding us to understand the phenomena we experience in our daily lives, such as the cocktail effect, which was shown in the attenuation attention model, and illusory conjunction, which was shown in the feature integration model. Thank you for listening.